Hey, you guys, hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the news that's literally like taking the internet by storm, I guess. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is pregnant. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to my new member, Shannon Catherine Lewis. Thank you so much for becoming a member. You guys are the best. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I told you guys yesterday I would be out of the office most of the day today because I was going to be on the road. And sure enough, I leave my house, headed out of town, and I get a message from one of my friends who is my mod sharing the news with me that Gypsy Rose Blanchard announced her pregnancy. Now, here's the crazy thing, you guys, is before Gypsy announced her pregnant, there is a Facebook account. And I didn't even think that we're going to pull this up. There is a Facebook account. Last night, I took the screenshots. There's a Facebook account that claims to be Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And it said, you guys are going to freak when I drop the news that I'm pregnant or something like that. And I took a screenshot of it and I was like, this can't be the real Gypsy because this account is always like posting crazy stuff on Facebook. Let me see if I can find it. I think this is it. Bear with me. That's not it. I'll find it, but there is a Facebook account that literally last night made the post. Did anybody see that? That there was a post last night on this Facebook account? I took a screenshot of it because I was like, is this for real? And then I was reading the comments and people was like, this is not the real Gypsy Blanchard. This isn't the real. It's Life with Gypsy Rose. Oh, is that it? It looks like it was deleted off this account. Am I tripping right now? It's deleted. Okay, y'all. Last night I was laying in bed and it said 28 minutes ago, this account posted, for the people who really want to know, I left Brian. Nope, never mind. That's the wrong one. It said, where is it? Do I not have it? Bree, I know I sent it to you, so let me pull my messages up. Okay. Didn't I? No, that was not the one. Never mind, y'all. I don't know. Anyways, let's get on with it because I don't know what I'm talking about, apparently. There is a Facebook account that literally posts things like that. Like, I had to kiss a frog to get to a prince. Like, this account posts some pretty, like, take shots at Ryan, but they claim that it's not Gypsy. But literally this morning or last night, I was laying in bed and it said, you guys are going to freak when we announce the pregnancy. And now I can't find it. Maybe I dreamed it. I don't know. Either way, let's get into it because Gypsy did announce on her YouTube channel today that she was pregnant. She posted a video that says, I'm pregnant, my journey so far. So let's go ahead. Let's listen to a clip of her announcing that she was pregnant.
And I'm happy to announce that I know the rumors have been flying around for quite some time now. And I'm happy to announce that I am 11 weeks pregnant. Ken and I are expecting our very first child come January of 2025. We're both very excited. This was not planned at all. It was completely unexpected. But we're both very excited to take on this new journey of parenthood.
Okay, so there she announced the pregnancy. Later on, she does talk about, finding out nothing else mattering other than the fact that she has this little life inside of her and she wants to give her baby, all the things that she didn't get from her mother. And she talked about cravings. She said she's been having some cravings. Orange juice. She talked about how she didn't think she was pregnant because she was just told by an OBGYN doctor that she would have to take medicine to make her ovulate or something. So then next thing you know, she is pregnant, right? I want to kind of pull some things together because she said she's 11 weeks pregnant. More than likely, it is Ken's baby. Like, I was going back and looking at some dates on the long ride home. I was like, let's kind of figure this out, okay? She says she's due in January. Here's the thing. Her and Ryan were she was so close to when she left Ryan to getting back with Ken, or at minimum hanging out with Ken, that it's very possible she's further along and not telling anybody. And the baby could potentially be Ryan's. That's possible. I was going back on dates. If she was like 13 weeks, according to when we learned she was no longer with Ryan, then she could be pregnant by Ryan. If she's 13 weeks or more, she's saying she's 11 weeks, right? Either way, I went back to some of the dates. But one thing that was really interesting to me that I thought about right after I found out she was pregnant is the fact that in Louisiana, if you are married when you have a child, legally, in the eyes of the law in Louisiana, your husband is considered legally the father to that child. So, and that is the law. Now, there are ways around it, but I thought that was wild. If you guys remember way back in the day when Kim Kardashian was married to Chris Humphries and she got pregnant by Kanye West, and there was this chatter that, like, oh, the divorce needs to go through before she has the baby, because if not, legally, Chris Humphries is the baby daddy. So it may be the same in the state of California. I'm not sure, but let's look at some Louisiana paternity up here in Louisiana, because I actually know somebody that this absolutely positively happened to. It was about 12 years ago, so the laws may have changed. Um, I did see that. So there was some talk about the baby possibly being Ryan's, and she had her nose job done and she recovered at her parents' house. So she was already separated when she had her nose job done, and she was clear for surgery, so she surely wasn't pregnant. Um, no, so even though she's legally separated in Louisiana, it doesn't really make a difference. You guys cannot see that at all, because my relative was legally separated, and it did not matter. Um, so what is paternity establishment? So paternity establishment is how a biological father obtains the legal rights to his child if he and the mother are not married. For unmarried parents, paternity must be established before the father's name can appear on the birth certificate. Two, for a child whose mother is or was married to someone other than the biological father within 300 days of the birth, the husband slash former husband is presumed to be the father and will be added to the birth certificate unless the biological father acknowledges paternity. And also, the husband has to agree to this. So I was reading on more sites about this information that, like, you kind of have to all three come together. The husband saying, I acknowledge that the baby's not mine. The actual biological father stepping up saying, I acknowledge that the child is mine. So, real life situation that happened to one of my relatives like 12 years ago. She's married, marriage doesn't work out. They separate, they're living in separate houses. She starts dating someone else. She comes up pregnant. Well, the divorce was taken longer than expected, and she had the baby before the divorce was final. Now, in some states, and I do think Louisiana is one of them that will also do this, is a judge will put a divorce on hold. If a woman comes up pregnant while in the middle of a divorce, a judge will put the divorces on hold until after she has the baby. That's wild. Either way, so my relative, she had the baby. She was still legally married to this man. So he literally was on the birth certificate. She's dating and moved in with another guy. So after she had the baby, husband signs the birth certificate. The baby literally has the last name of another man. But after the divorce went through, they were able to get everything situated, and the child was able to get the last name of the biological father. And the ex-husband was able to remove his name off the birth certificate. But there is cases like this legit happens. Like, it literally happened to a friend of mine, or it's not even a friend, it's a family member of mine. Now, this was 12 years ago. Separated does not mean divorce. Exactly. So even if you're separated, it does not matter. For a child whose mother is or was married to someone other than the biological father within 300 days of birth, the husband slash former husband is presumed to be the father and will be added to the birth certificate unless the biological father acknowledges paternity. So here's another thing. Say something happens to her and Ken, and he's like, you know what? Never mind. You're still married. I don't have to claim that baby. If Ken decides, he could say, I'm not going to claim the child. And then Gypsy would have to petition the court to make Ryan take, or not Ryan, Ken take a paternity test if something was to happen to them. Okay. So this is like legit stuff here in Louisiana. It's wild, but It happens, okay? Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because many people who separate do get back together a lot of times. Yeah. Do you think she got pregnant to trap Ken? 1,000%. If I've never been sure of anything in my life, I am absolutely sure that Gypsy Rose Blanchard got pregnant by Ken within the first week of them getting together just so she could trap him. Okay. Yes, yes, and yes. Um, Here was no, that's not it. Oh, here was the date that I was talking about. Let's look at this, you guys. Here's some of the dates that I was talking about. So Gypsy Rose Blanchard calls it quits with her hubby, moves in with her parents. So that was announced on March 29th. Okay. So they broke up at the end of March. Uh, I just know whenever Kim Kardashian was divorcing Chris Humphries, that was like a storyline on the show. Now, maybe it's not that way in California and they were just taking laws from other states to make a storyline. But I know anybody else remember hearing that about Kim Kardashian? That she was like trying to hurry up and get a divorce. And there was literally worry that if she didn't, then Chris Humphries would be the legal father to her child, even though it was Kanye West. So I can't say for sure that that's what happened because I'm not from California. I haven't even read the laws. I know in Louisiana and Texas it's the same. That if you are married legally, the husband is recognized as the father. Either way, um, okay. So Gypsy Rose Blanchard calls it quits with hubby, moves in with parents. That was released March 29th. So let's just say she got pregnant the day before by Ryan. She could potentially be 13 and a half weeks. She would be like 13 and a half weeks, right? All right. Then Gypsy Rose Blanchard gets matching tattoos with ex fiance Ken. Stuck in mix post Ryan. I don't know what that says. In the mix post Ryan. Anyways, that came out April 2nd. So the world found out that Gypsy and Ryan was separated on like the 29th, I think, of March. Less than a week later, like 4 days later, she was off getting tattoos with Ken, right? So, say she got pregnant around that time, she would be 13 weeks. Y'all see how close that is? If her and Ryan was bumping uglies up until right before, like the day before separation, which most people ain't, but maybe they were, who knows? I mean, the DE was fired allegedly after all, so maybe she was getting it right until the end. I don't know. But if she was getting it until the end with Ryan, this is too much in this girl's business. Anyways, 13 and a half weeks is what she could be if her and Ken started bumping uglies the second they got together, she could be about 13 weeks. That's really close. And then you have Gypsy Rose Blanchard, TikTok interview with Ken. We're not banging and I'm not prego. That was April 4th. Okay. So that's when they say they are just friends, no banging. If she would have got pregnant around that time, she would be 12 weeks and 6 days. So maybe they weren't banging, but it started happening shortly after that, right? That's wild. And here's their little cute announcement. We are proud to announce that we're expecting our first child in January 2025. Announcement video on YouTube. Those are cute pictures, not gonna lie. But I do wonder, like, how upset is Ryan? Ryan hasn't responded yet, but yes, exactly. So that's Miss Maverick says if she's 11 weeks pregnant, she actually got pregnant like 9 weeks ago. They'll go off the last period. And two, there's like so it actually takes like it could take up to 2 weeks after like the time you have sex, right? It can take up to 2 weeks for you to get pregnant typically. So there's like that's why there's like a 0 week from my understanding. Um, so that's why I kind of went back with the dates. I did like the 0 week. I was like 0 week, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to come up with these dates. But yeah, so last live Brian did. He posted on YouTube. He says, "No way, she's pregnant." Whoop. Well, that sucks that she at minimum did not tell Ryan. To be quite honest, like you are still married to him. I feel like at minimum care enough about his feelings to tell him first. Right? Don't let him find out the whole world. And maybe you don't have to tell him, but your dad, Rod and Ryan they hadn't talked, but they did get along. And I think that Ryan had some respect for your dad. And I think your dad had a little respect for Ryan. So I think that at minimum, you could have said, "Hey, dad, I need you to text Ryan, let him know that I'm pregnant and that the news is going to come out soon," right? Because I don't want him to find out when everybody else finds out. That's what I think she should have. That's just me. That's what I would have done. I mean, after all, you married the man, so you at least cared about his feelings at one point, right? Um, so the date that I got that she would have ended up pregnant would have been from like April 16th to April 23rd, I think was the dates that I came up with from like the 16th to the 23rd, or maybe it's like the week after that. Either way, mid April, they were definitely bumping uglies. But a lot of people are like, no way. Like, Gypsy, you're on parole for another year and a half. You're too soon into this relationship with Ken. I mean, it was just like 6 months ago you were saying, I don't need to have a baby because I know right now I wouldn't put a baby first. And I don't want to have a baby until I can put a baby first. So now it's like it's not even a year after that, and you're pregnant. And I thought that it was crazy that, Gypsy, who was married to Ryan, took the Plan B pill to like make sure she didn't get pregnant. But when she's obviously doing the dirty with Ken and maybe not on birth control, and Ken is not um, using any form of birth control either. She didn't think that doing the Plan B pill was a good idea anymore. Like, I don't know.
So
Like,
I know the rumors have been
sorry, y'all are so quick in y'all's relationship that at minimum, I think you should have been taking that Plan B pill. You know what I'm saying? Like, she says she can't donate her time to a child. Yeah. I definitely feel like she didn't want one with Ryan. I do agree. I do feel like Gypsy knew that she did not want one with Ryan, but she was A-okay having one with Ken. So, yeah, what's everybody's thought? Someone who isn't a mom may say something like donate time. But yeah, that's a weird way to phrase it. It is, yeah. Oh, she got pregnant because her PO won't make her get a 9 to 5 now. That's wild if that's true. Because could you imagine somebody being so immature and out of touch with reality of what being a parent entails to say, I'm going to get a job so my PO doesn't make me get a 9 to 5? You're about to have a 24/7. Like, you're going to wish you could have got that 9 to 5. Like, what? That's wild. She didn't want a baby with Ryan because she wasn't attracted to him to begin with. Uh, is it bad if I laugh if it turns out to be Ryan's? I mean, I think the possibility, well, a part of me is like, I think the possibilities could be there, but then you have to remember she did have the surgery. She had the surgery on her nose, and that was afterwards. When it acknowledges me, I feel like a celebrity just knows me. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. I love that. I love that. I remember those days being in. I don't have a lot of time to be in other people's chats, but when I would be in somebody's chat and they would say something to me, and I'd be like, famous. Grace Report. Grace Report uh, noticed me like in her streams before I became like a YouTuber. The same one on the show who said, Ken doesn't want me. He likes blinds. Then the same episode goes to the line to go blind. She had this whole getting back together with Ken thing planned. And two, I normally do the recaps for Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup. No, it aired Monday night. I was going to try to do the recap of the episode today, but I'm going to have to do it tomorrow because it takes like hours to prepare for, and I didn't get to do that. But I will say, in the last episode of Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup, she was 1,000% trying to make Ryan look bad on TV. She was. I mean, not saying that he didn't do some things but there were things that I felt she could have talked to him off camera about that she purposely did it on camera to make him look bad. Like, first off, sending the video to Mia, sending the video, like, I don't think Ryan was being too much in that video. If something hurts your feelings as a spouse, or if you are not okay with something, you should have the right to say, I didn't like that. I'm not okay with that. We didn't see him saying it in a way that was like nasty and disrespectful to her. He just stated it. I didn't like that. Like, you didn't tell your sister, you told the whole world. And that's the issue that I had is you told the whole world. Like if and he even said, if you want to tell your sister. Just don't do it on camera. And she's like, I didn't even think about it. And we're like, girl, yeah, you did. You knew that camera was rolling the whole time. Either way, she sends the video to Mia. And then later on, he's like, Did you send the video to your sister? She's like, I did. And he's like, well, I wish you wouldn't have done that. And I'm like, any spouse would be like, I wish you wouldn't have done that. Who really wants their spouse sending videos of them arguing to their parents or their family members? Because guess what happens? The family members obviously going to be on your side. They're going to be biased more than likely, and they're going to stop liking your spouse. And then if Gypsy and Ryan would have worked out, guess who wouldn't be liking Ryan? Her family. So I was like, she shouldn't have done that. Like, that is very immature to record your spouse and then send it to someone. Like, if you really think they're being abusive and you want to record it because you think you might need it, like if you have a plan for divorce and you're like, I might need this, I need to get evidence of him being verbally abusive. But what Ryan was doing in that video was not being verbally abusive at all. He was just telling her, I didn't like that. And we didn't see him doing it in any type of way that, in my opinion, was like out of line, right? So then they go eat. They go to this jump thing and they play and it's a good time. And then they go to eat. And she's literally like, she brings it up like, you don't like any of my family. And he's like, well, it's not that I don't like them, but I feel like they question our relationship. They don't, like, they don't support our relationship. So, of course, like, I'm not going to be super happy with them. But I call Christy mom and Gypsy said, yeah, but in the car earlier, you also said that she loves the fame or something like that. And he was like, you can tell. He was like, that was a joke. Like, Ryan said a comment about Christy to his wife privately. So for her to turn around and then say it in front of the cameras, in my opinion, that would have made me feel some type of way. And I felt like she did that on purpose. I felt like she purposely brought up the fact that he made a comment about Christy, and then she brought up something else that I was like, you are purposely like going like tattling on him on the camera so people, and he's like, listen, I'm sorry. Yeah, if people, question our relationship, it's going to make me feel some type of way. I'm sorry. And she's like, well, they just do it from a place of, wanting to protect me. And he's like, I understand, I get it. I understand. But of course I'm going to, have an issue with that. And I'm like, I didn't really see much of a problem with it. But anyways, I felt like on this episode, she was absolutely trying to make him look bad, and she was doing it on purpose. Like, she was purposely bringing up things in front of the camera to make him look bad. Yes, she would have been tested for pregnant. Okay, so let me see when she got the nose job. All right, when did she get the nose job? She got the nose job. It says 4/6, but that was when it was reported. April 6th. It would have been that Friday. She got it April 3rd. So she got the nose job April 3rd. So April 3rd, she wouldn't have been pregnant. So in Texas, the man you're legally married to, the legal father, whether they like it or not. That's how it is in Louisiana, and they live in Louisiana. So that's what I'm saying. In Louisiana, if she don't get a divorce before she has that baby, technically Ryan could be seen as, in the eyes of the law, Ryan would be like seen as the father and would have to be on the birth certificate. Now, there is a form that you can fill out. The biological parent, the biological father could fill it out acknowledging the child, and Ryan could agree to it, and then everything would be fine. Ryan would not be seen as a dad, and the biological dad would, but I'm just saying, it's crazy. Nat says, I don't care who got her pregnant. I think it was just too soon. I think you're right. I think you're right. I definitely think you're right. I found out I was pregnant with my fifth baby when I was 44. I cried for months. I felt I was too old. Now I have a wonderful 2-year old and 9-month old grandson, and I wouldn't change it. Oh, I love that, Amy. You can be pregnant and too early to test positive, and that is true. I'm assuming she's went to the doctor already, because she's about out of her first trimester. Usually, celebrities don't tell you they don't release the information of their pregnancy until they're out of the first trimester because they want to make sure everything's going to be good with the baby. Because once you're out of that first trimester, your chances of miscarrying they decrease significantly. So that's why a lot of celebrities they wait until they are in their second trimester, and she is almost in her second trimester. So she has absolutely went to the doctor, so she wouldn't know how far along she is. Now, Megan says she is not fully acclimated to free society, but she's going to be bringing a child into the world that needs guidance. I agree. Now, I was reading some comments, and I was like, dang, Gypsy did more in 7 months than like I've done in my whole life almost. And I'm like, that's true. Gypsy has done a lot in the short period that she's gotten out of prison. For one, she's gotten out of prison. She was in prison for the unaliving of her mother. So she gets out of prison. She gets a nose job. She gets her teeth fixed. She gets her hair done. She gets a pup. She leaves the pup. She leaves the husband. She gets tattoos with her new boo. She wrote a book. She done a TV show. Now she gets pregnant. That's a lot. Holy crap. It's been 14 weeks since her nose job, so she became pregnant post. Okay, whatever. Yes, that's what it seems. Can you show the maternity photos? Yes. Those are too little. Let me take those off. Maybe she got pregnant when she was on antibiotics after her nose job. Either way, she's old enough to know better. I don't think she was on birth control because she, in the video where she announced her pregnancy, she actually said that she had just went to the doctor to like start talking about figuring out to see if she ovulates and to see to make sure she can have kids essentially. And she went, and the doctor was like, we'll probably have to give you medication to help you ovulate because we don't think you're ovulating. So in a few weeks she was going to go get that medication. So when she missed her period, she just thought, oh, well, I'm not ovulating, that's probably why I didn't have a period. And then Ken, look, he knew what he did. He's like, you probably need to go get a pregnancy test because a couple of weeks ago anyway, so she went and got a pregnancy test and she was pregnant. What if the judge says no to granting the divorce? I mean, they can, but I don't foresee that happening. I think that's very rare that ever happens. Now, judges in Louisiana will like pause it, like they will prolong the divorce proceedings. Let me see. For these reasons, parties cannot get a divorce while the wife is pregnant. You must wait until after the child is born to get divorced. Let me see what this says. Just ask a lawyer. Recently filed for divorce, but pregnant with partner's baby, not spouses. Do I have to reveal the pregnancy? My partner and I are planning to get married at the courthouse before the baby is born in February. No cheating involved. My ex and I have been long-term separated, agreed to divorce, so there is absolutely no question of paternity. We only delayed filing until recently because we were trying to figure out what to do with the house. He's buying me out. Does my partner and I getting married before the birth cancel out the necessity of a acknowledgement of paternity? Will I get into trouble legally if I don't reveal the pregnancy during the divorce proceedings? And this lawyer, Mahid, said in the state of Texas, as well as Louisiana, which is where they live, a child born during marriage is presumed to be the child of the husband, even if it's not. In your final decree of divorce, you must state whether there was any minor children born or adopted during the marriage. Additionally, when you finalize the divorce, the wife must state whether she is pregnant. For these reasons, parties cannot get divorced while the wife is pregnant. You must wait until after the child is born to get a divorce because the lawyer presumes that your husband is the father of the unborn child until it can legally establish the husband is not the father. Therefore, you can and will get in trouble if you fail to reveal that you are pregnant during the proof of or finalization of your divorce. So in this case, this lawyer says you must wait until the baby is born, do a DNA test, and then you can go on with the divorce. So, no spousal support for her. I would do one just because you want to know for sure. Think YouTube going to give her a second part, being a mom after lockup? But either way, you guys, that's a lot. That's a lot because, I mean, we just learned a couple of weeks ago there was this rumor that Ken had been like talking to Steve and that there was a relationship there. Oh, and on last night's episode of Gypsy Rose Blanchard Life After Lockup, Ken told us that him and Gypsy talked up until like right before she got released from prison. She tried to tell us like she hadn't talked to him in God knows how long, but in reality, or right before the wedding, she tried to tell us that the last time she talked to Ken was like right before the wedding. Well, then Ken is like, actually, you talked to me up until like right before you got out of prison. What if Ryan refuses to divorce Gypsy? I wish I had a lawyer on here I could talk to. Because I don't, you can refuse a divorce, but I don't know what happens. Let's see. I hope not, Dakota. That would be disgusting. Okay. In many states, you can still get a divorce if your spouse refuses to sign the divorce papers by filing a default divorce. This process includes filing a petition. You can start the process by filing a divorce petition, also known as a complaint with the court. Your spouse doesn't need to sign the form. You have to serve your spouse. So the court will serve your spouse with the petition and they will have a specific amount of time to respond. You can hire a professional process server to ensure your spouse receives the paperwork. And then you can request a default judgment. If your spouse doesn't respond within a specific time period, you can return to the court and request a default judgment. You'll need to provide proof that your spouse received the paperwork and just did not sign them. So yeah. He can definitely prolong the divorce. That's for sure. Gypsy posted a positive test last week on Instagram, then quickly deleted it. Flawless Nina had shared it. I heard that. And I heard she said like her account was hacked or something. Ryan should ask for a DNA test. This lady needs to seek some mental counseling before having a baby. I got the feeling her stepmom wanted her to get back with Ken. Yes, I agree. Yes. I agree. But yeah, there we go, you guys. In the state of Louisiana, your husband is legally presumed to be the father of your children. So Gypsy better get a move on that divorce. And if Ryan doesn't want to agree to the divorce, he can definitely prolong it. You guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, because they don't have children, in the state of Louisiana, if you have children, you cannot get a divorce until you have been legally separated for a year. But because they have no children, then it can happen in 6 months. So she should be divorced before the baby is here. But if Ryan prolongs it for any amount of time, then things can get kind of sticky. You guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. It won't be done until October, she said. The divorce, that's of this year, though. So she should be good. Plot twist, what if the baby is Ryan's? That would be wild. It turns into different when there's pregnancy involved, not knowing the DNA places the divorce on hold in the court. Yeah, that's what my understanding of it could be as well. But you guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Do we believe the baby's Ryan's? Do we believe the baby's Ken's? Had anybody else heard about this law that literally, if you are married, your husband is the dad? Did anybody else know about this? Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you join me back here for more tonight. We're going to be doing more, hopefully, I think. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel so when I do go live, you can be notified. Also, you can follow me on my other social media accounts. I have TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, Facebook, all the things. So follow me there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.